I'm not really feeling it from this one. They don't make them like they quite used to. I want the old school ones. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Quality worse than recordings from a bank security camera. I love it. As you can tell, I'm something of an anime fan. I grew up watching Toonami, and the moment I discovered the power of the internet, I saw some things. The good memories being that of some funny stuff, and the other being some really cool shit. And that was in the form of AMVs. Anime music videos are sick. Anyone who's an anime fan, especially shonen, has at least seen a handful of them. I was, and still am, a Dragon Ball dork, so of course, Goku vs. Broly from the final minutes of the first movie having Bring Me Back to Life by Evanescence is something that's changed my life. You might be thinking I'm exaggerating. Well, not as much as you think. Music on its own is already something that can make you jump out of your seat and make you lose control, so much so that nearly entire genres give you that feeling of being able to take on the world or punch a hole in the wall, and mosh pits exist for that very reason. And from a slightly psychological viewpoint, it makes sense that anime is pretty much perfect for a music video format. Let me put it like this. When a song is released by a popular artist, if we're all being real, not many people are going to be talking about the music video itself. It's the song that obviously matters. You only need to pay attention to the lyrics and melody. And on the other end, for something like a movie, it's more visually concentrated. Your mind is focused on the visuals, the cinematography, the acting, direction, etc. Now, I'm not saying that soundtracks in movies or shows are pointless, because my man Hans Zimmer goes fucking crazy, and you can still create a story from a music video alone. Though for AMVs, it's taking anime, something that's usually praised, especially nowadays, for its animation, and then adding music to accompany it, mainly rock, punk, or even something orchestral to give it that intense feeling. The anime's visuals keep your mind and eyes focused, while the music brings it to that next level. Now, surprisingly, AMVs weren't really invented, you could say, in the 2000s. The very first AMV was done in 1982 from an anime called Star Blazers with the song All You Need Is Love. Quite the combination. My personal favorite ones being with a silent voice in the song Sad by XXXTentacion, Naruto featuring Running, and the one that got me into the whole thing, Gohan vs. Cell with Down with the Sickness. It does not get any better than that. Now, I know this method has some credence behind it because, well, that's what anime openings are in general. Cool visual eye candy with a kick-ass song, and the best part is that I'm not even exclusively talking about official openings. This goes as far as unofficial, official openings. And what I mean are these two examples, Rock the Dragon from Dragon Ball Z and Rise from Naruto. Neither of these are actual openings that premiered with the series in Japan. They're literally just clips from other openings and movies stitched together for Toonami's broadcast. As rough as an explanation as that was, they're still fucking fire. And to my surprise, both were composed by the same guy, Jeremy Sweet, who also helped with some Power Ranger themes. Okay, this guy gets my seal of "he's sick with it" approval. Even when Toonami had access to future intros, they would still use the AMV approach. The second OP is when they did this, Haruka Kanata. It's an amalgamation of the second OP, third OP, and clips from the two arcs it's covered. Toonami never really used Naruto's first and third opening songs, which I think is pretty funny, and I feel like I'm obligated to acknowledge Fighting Dreamers in some way. There you go. Now, the fun thing about AMVs is that the method works so well that it transitions outside of anime. Simply just putting wicked action shots together with a cool song works nearly flawlessly. Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, quite the mouthful, did this, and when I saw it, from just finishing DMC 3, I cannot tell a lie and say that I wasn't excited. Mortal Kombat X did this for their trailer, and damn bro, it is awesome.
Self-righteous suicide. deserve to die. There are fates worse than death.
Okay, now, I know, it feels like I'm not really getting to the point of this video, but I wanted to lay down the groundwork first, because when I do look back on AMVs and see how they've evolved over the years, it's pretty neat to witness. Though moving forward from that, we get edits. AMVs were definitely made to incorporate entire songs, so the videos would roughly be between 2 to 4 minutes. And I'm really showing my age here, but YouTube was really the only big spot to post such videos, and because anime wasn't the big screen hitting genre as it is today. But then you get to the platforms that are made for quicker, snappier, in-your-face vids. Can't really call them AMVs anymore because they're shorter than 60 to 30 seconds, sometimes only 6 seconds. Thank you, Vine. So once again, in this case, they're just edits. Though because of that time limit, it propelled people into really learning how to use the software and effects as much as possible. Downloading an edit pack of over 200 different effects to just only use 3 of them for 15 seconds is a prime reason you should never edit videos. But those edits were cool and at least showed us what AMVs would later become. You fast forward a number of years later and here we are in the 2020s. Anime is everywhere, which is for better or for worse.
That was a sussy buck!
As well as a lot of people remarkably thinking, watching anime? Nah, not for me anymore. Reasons being time, boredom, commitment. I want more, you say. I want the source material, and that source being manga. When wanting to create the paperback equivalent of an AMV, you get a manga music video, MMV. And what makes these great is that they're just as flexible as both edits and AMVs. They can have the finesse flashy style of an edit and be just as short and straight to the point, or if you're really dedicated to the craft, creating one that's 2 to 3 minutes with all the pizzazz. Though there's a bit of a problem if you're trying to make one of these. Pictures don't move on their own, and trying to find a way to do so is a fucking nightmare, which is the absolute reason why I think MMVs have been super cool from the past couple of years, and I think the best part about them is that anyone can make them however they want. And what I specifically mean is that you're given all the liberty in the world to do things your way, with how a character moves, the timing, effects, camera angles are all up to the maker. Panels are given a new vibrant life. And anime, it's more or less set in stone of how a scene is played out. I know it sounds obvious, but it means that you're kind of limited with what you can do with the scene, because it's already done. With MMVs, you can pretty much do anything in any way, and it's glorious. Have the chorus drop at a specific time to give your audience chills, add an effect that couldn't be done in the anime or manga itself, or just have a cool-ass song that you really like. It all works. There are 2 Fire Punch ones that come to mind for me, one of which was made by Shonen Jump themselves, which is pretty good actually, but then another that just goes above and beyond, having POV shots from a camera, explosions, full-on fire effects. It's awesome. And I know that these types of videos get fans hyped up in some way because companies whose main selling point being manga make them nowadays, Viz being the biggest example. Sure, they can just get someone who's popular or has a fan base to talk about a series to sell it, literally nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they're funny and cool. With MMVs though, it's the pure fun mix of an MMV and trailer, really showing those cool moments from the manga with fitting music to get your monkey brain hooked. And I still know this works because one of, if not the most popular one, being this Chainsaw Man trailer. And I can tell you that this video, which has 19 million views by the time of this recording, it still had over 10 million views before the anime dropped. That's insane. Now, even though I said that around the 2020s is when MMVs started to become popular, surprisingly, they've always kind of been around. For instance, JoJo's animes didn't start airing until 2012 to 2013. That's over 20 years without a full-on anime adaptation, not counting the OVAs, of course. Yet there were some MMVs made before the anime and even Part 8's first couple of chapters. There are a series of ones made from Phantom Blood to Steel Ball Run, all done by the same guy, specifically using songs and tracks by Sold Out, who are fans of the series and have stands named after them, actually. And the cool thing about this is that when you listen to all of them back to back, it's basically like an MMV album in a way. And for JoJo, that's perfect. Anyone who's talked about manga surely knows about MMVs, because quite frankly, everyone uses them now, either for transitions, background footage, and so on. I personally try to make some of my own in my videos for the series I'll be talking about, but man oh man, I can for certain say that doing this is hard, which is what really got me to make this video in the first place. I've just spent about 10 minutes gushing over nostalgic videos and black and white pictures moving. Ultimately, and I know it sounds like I'm being hard on myself, anyone can kind of do that. And from wanting to genuinely get better at this skill and from watching a bunch of these hundreds of times, I wanted to know what the actual process was like from someone who did it on a consistent basis. It took some time, but I managed to have a chat with someone who does. That being Ninjaristic Ninja. I mostly put this part in here because I messed up saying his name when I met him, but that's fine. Enjoy the interview.
Yeah, well, hello. I'm Ninjaristic Ninja. I've been making MMVs for the last year and a half. I just make videos, kind of like manga music videos, I guess. I think that's what they actually, like, MMV stands for.
Yeah.
And it's just basically videos of animating manga arcs or fight scenes with copyrighted music to go with them.
You know, when you first, started doing this, like, what inspired you to do it and stuff?
Yes, so there were two main inspirations, specifically two videos. One was the official, I think it was the Chainsaw Man Volume 9 PV on the Japanese Jump channel. And then the other inspiration was from a channel called Alinko and his Jujutsu Kaisen Shibuya MMV. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of happened to come across those two things, and I was kind of bored during the summer. And so I thought I'll try to make those. And so I opened After Effects, and I think that the Chainsaw Man inspiration is a little bit more obvious because I stole the song and the style for my first MMV. Those were the two very obvious inspirations to get me started.
Yeah, I really like those ones because, I think that's like the very fun part about like MMVs is that they just have, they get you hype essentially because, one of them is literally a trailer and stuff. And that is, I think still to this day, like one of the most viewed like Viz manga trailer that there could be for something like that. It has like over 10-12 million views easily, and it's only been out for like a couple of years or so, and that was before the anime, so that should really tell you something. So it's kind of impressive. Yeah. I suppose like when you started doing your own stuff, what's the thought process like doing like your own vision and everything when you make your own videos?
I mean, I think at the start the idea was just I wanted to kind of animate the particular arcs I liked, which is why the channel only really started with My Hero stuff, because that's what I really liked around the time I started. And then I guess when it comes to like animating a scene specifically, like since I have kind of a limited song time right to cover, I just kind of thinking of like how I can summarize like a fight scene or an arc using as many panels as possible, which is why I like using fast-paced songs while syncing it up with the song and kind of smoothly transitioning between shots. It's like the main kind of mindset which I still kind of have.
One of my favorite ones is really gets me going with just like how fast-paced it is. A plus to like MMVs is that they allow you to find new songs and stuff.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, the Chainsaw Man one, the deeper one with One on Rock. I love that one. It's so good.
Yeah, that's probably still one of my favorites I've made. Just because of the song. I think it's a really good song.
I think a more like specific question that I have, and even for my friend who's also like into your stuff and everything, you probably heard of him, Zenith Animanga. He loves your work as well.
Yes.
We connected and everything. It's just like, oh yeah, this guy's stuff is amazing. And I think one of my very favorite, like I guess you could say, shots that you've done and like the way that you did it was Deku versus Shigaraki one with warriors in the background, and the panels and moments where you see all of the other One for All users standing behind Deku is really amazing. So how do you come up with something like that? Because that can't be easy, because that's not even in the manga itself.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that was a tricky one to do. I think that one took a while because I had to cut out so many different parts, because like in the original panel, It's a lot more vertical as well, and I think a big challenge when it comes to MMVs is kind of translating things into like a landscape video. Because obviously, if you're doing like a vertical one for like TikTok and whatnot or YouTube Shorts, like there are a lot of panels that kind of take up an entire page, right? Like double page spreads are kind of easy to translate into video, but when it comes to like those kind of panels that are very vertical, there was a lot of kind of copying and moving stuff around until everything kind of fit on the screen. I think the biggest challenge for that particular shot as well, actually, was the color. Because something that hasn't been consistent with My Hero is the color of the vestiges. Like, I had to go to so many different references, it's like, until I eventually found a consistent one. I think I actually had to look at, like, the One for All Stars, when All Might does this kind of thing in Season 1.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which color was which.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Again,
the colors are all over the place.
Yeah, but there was one really useful thing, which was, I think it was one of the openings. Basically, had the colors correct, which was nice. But yeah, it was a tricky shot. I think it took the longest in the thing, but I knew I had to kind of make that one stand out because one, the shot lasts a while, but two, like as you say, it's like the kind of climax of the edit. So
yeah. Do you usually? I would assume, obviously, you have like, oh, okay, I want to do it this way, and how does that usually just go about and stuff? Like with like what program you use?
My process has kind of changed over the years, but over the years, it's not even two. Over the last 18 months, I guess. I mean, I started off by doing it really badly, but it's kind of remained consistent in the sense that you crop them out in Photoshop. So I like crop out all the characters and all the kind of different assets. So they're like, the transparent PNGs. And then I take those, I put them into After Effects. And then say if I want to animate a character doing something, I'll put that character in his own little After Effects composition. I'll split them into layers. I'll mask out all the different parts I want to move. Once I've done that, I've also got to like redraw on like the kind of bottom layer to make sure that like when I move the arm, there's not like an arm still there. I will say that I think the most efficient way to do it, which I'm not currently doing because I'm too stubborn to switch, instead of kind of separating it into layers within After Effects, I think the way you're really supposed to do it is you do that in Photoshop. Because there's just more like options in terms of like drawing stuff within Photoshop. Then you take the Photoshop document or the file and then put that into After Effects. So then you can kind of already animate it. But yeah, and basically to kind of simplify everything I said, is takes the panels, you crop them in Photoshop, you animate them in After Effects.
That's really interesting because I know like when it comes to, because I'll admit I suck when it comes to my thumbnails and stuff. Admittedly, I'm just also like too lazy to learn how to properly do it, and that mostly stems from you gotta learn how to mask, and I don't like masking stuff. That's just my biggest deal.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I mean, I think for me, I've got the kind of cheat code with thumbnails because I just have to find a good shot in the MOV. So
yeah, so like doing that over and over again, kudos to you, because I definitely would have gone insane after like the third like character I would probably need to crop out and stuff. It's just like, oh my god, I still need to keep doing this. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a monotonous process. I think like it's not the most complicated one, but it is probably the hardest. Again, not because it's complicated, but because it takes so long, and you're doing the same thing, just kind of clicking around like 100 panels essentially, and it just takes too long.
Yeah, I think the final question that I have for you is like, if you're probably not already doing it, if you haven't done it already, what is like, not even necessarily a fight, because I know you do other creative things. I think like another thing that you're known for, instead of just really animating fights from manga, is your Kobeni and Dabi videos, where they just dance around the manga video universe and everything. So like, what's a fight or moment or idea you would love to do an MMV for?
Yeah, well, I guess in terms of like Benny Dabi dance stuff, I've already got like a third kind of thing planned out. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like scenes or fights, I mean, I definitely mostly animate fight scenes, although I would like to kind of move away from it. I'm not really sure what scene specifically, but I think in terms of fight scenes, I do have a fight scene I really want to animate, which I'm close to animating, because it's part of the Jujutsu Kaisen MMV I'm working on, but it's quite far away. But it's the fight between, what's his name? Hakari and Kashimo?
Kashimo.
Yes.
Yeah, Gambling Man versus Electric Man.
Exactly, yeah. I really want to animate that fight, because it's long, It's got cool choreography. It's got a lot of good panels to work with, and it's got the whole like gambling kind of domain thing, which I think kind of has a lot of kind of creative possibilities. So I think that's probably the one I'm right now want to animate the most. And I would have already probably made an edit of just that fight if it wasn't part of a bigger video.
That is definitely the most Jujutsu Kaisen fight that there is in the series, where you learn so much information and then you realize this doesn't really matter. All he's doing is just trying to find a way to punch him hard. All right, got it. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, 3 pages of explaining just to say he's punching harder.
Huge kudos to you for finding the time to be here for this and everything. Reason why I wanted to do it this way is because I didn't want it to just be, oh, MMVs are cool, and that's it. But it's like, okay, well, I want to take it a step beyond. How do they make them and stuff? Like, what's the process in it? And you don't really hear a lot about that and everything. I think that whole like aspect is just not talked about enough. And I've been following you for a minute. I thought like he'd be great to talk to. That'd be neat. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for inviting me. I think it's definitely cool to kind of hear from more of the editors themselves.
Yeah.
Since, yeah, at least as far as I know, I haven't seen a lot of them kind of talk about it openly. So, yeah, thanks again for inviting me.
Yeah, and where can they find you if they don't know you already?
Well, if you can remember how to spell the name, it's Ninjaristic Ninja. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. It's all the same name. Just Ninjaristic Ninja. Or if you search Ninjastic Ninja, you'll probably find me as well, because that's what my channel analytics say.
That's dope. I absolutely thank Ninja for giving his insight about the art and process of MMVs. Again, watching these are really, really dope, but I wanted to see and hear how it's all actually done for something like this. A video format and nearly entire genre by this point becoming a lot more prominent when it comes to manga. And AMVs aren't gone forever. They still hold a special place in my heart and memory for being so cool. And one thing I want to know is, what are your favorite manga or anime music videos? I would like to know, actually. Maybe I'll discover something new, and hopefully you have too from this video. And that is the video on why MMVs are cool. Pretty straightforward title. I don't think there's really anything else to go with this video. I think you guys get the point. Me seeing action shots with rock music really gets me going. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know what to do with all the links that I provide and everything of the sort. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else, you know what to do. Bye.